Hi there. I hope you're well, and I hope you're doing what you need to do to be looking after yourself and those around you right now. I just wanted to kind of chuck up this video to share a couple of interesting things that I think have cropped up over the last week. I'm very much reminded of the curse, may you live in interesting times, and that certainly seems like where we are right now. But a couple of interesting things that have happened amongst my clients of late, and I've got the permissions of everybody that I'm speaking about to share this with them. I've obviously got a few clients who are finding this a really, really difficult time. The sort of the uncertainty and the chaos is, as I've said previously on videos, I think it is by its very nature anxiety provoking, and some of them are finding this really difficult, and it's really useful to have that regular contact to kind of get grounded and be with somebody in that anxious place for them. And I know that they're finding their sessions really helpful in dealing with this. But what also I think is I'm noticing amongst my clients is some clients who would normally be very anxious day to day, and they would have a sort of a real anxious program running in the back of their minds all the time, are actually feeling really calm under the current circumstances, which is really interesting because I don't think you would expect that, would you? But I think it's down to a couple of things really. And one of the things that we think of as a transactional analyst, which is the type of psychotherapy that I practice, we have this lovely model for the inner child. We also have a model for the inner parent, and we also have a model for the inner adult, for the inner grown-up, which is kind of you in your boots, really. And one of the things in therapy that we do is, because I think often anxiety, when we get a bit carried away with it, is your inner child and your inner parent probably kicking off between the two of them, that anxiety is often not the purview of the inner adult. Often. Right now, I think it could really be, because it's a very uncertain world. But what happens, I think, when people come in for therapy is their adult becomes stronger, and their capacity to understand what's going on and how to respond to it kind of improves pretty quickly. And so what I'm noticing amongst my clients who would normally be anxious from a child place or a parental place internally, that's not quite so prevalent anymore. And in two particular instances, there's also something really interesting that's happening. So often as a psychotherapist, I think about what's going on in a client's inner world and what's going on in their outer world. And for some of my clients, their anxiety focuses on the outer world. Or what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? What if I lose my job? What if there's a car accident? What if all my family get ill? What if... That's the type of anxiety program that they've got running in their minds most of the time. And what I notice amongst them when they're feeling really calm right now is they're like, well, this coronavirus thing, I've prepped for it. I spent my entire life working out what I would do if there's a crisis, and now there's a crisis. In fact, this is a far easier crisis than anything that I'd planned for in my anxious mind, because my anxious mind goes at 1,000 miles an hour, whereas this crisis is only going at 250 miles an hour. So I feel quite calm in this, which I find really interesting. I think also there's a degree for some of my clients that their anxiety normally is about their inner world. Like, oh God, what am I doing? Am I good enough? Am I causing this problem that's going on around me? Are people upset because of me? Like real internalizing of the anxiety problem. And for a lot of them that are feeling really calm in the midst of this coronavirus crisis, what they're noticing is that they're looking around going, well, this definitely isn't me. This really isn't me. So I'll just let my adult get on and do the things that I can do, whatever that might be. So there's two kind of instances there amongst my clients where their day-to-day anxiety has dropped significantly because they're in a bit of a crisis, or at least the rest of the world is in a bit of a crisis. So I just kind of thought I'd share that with you and just talk a little bit about that, because I find that really interesting, how we're all responding to this. I do think at the moment there's a degree to which we are desperately trying to avoid this physical health spike in the coronavirus outbreak that would overrun the hospitals and would cause massive problems and a very high death toll. And I think we're doing quite well as a country to prevent that and have a much more smooth curve of how the coronavirus hits us. But I do wonder if what's happening in terms of our mental health as a country is that we're right in the middle of that spike. So as much as I've said that I've got some clients who are not feeling anxious when they normally would because the anxiety is outside of them right now, there's all the panic buying and there's people very disturbed and upset and uncertain and all that sort of stuff. I think as a nation we're struggling. Some of us have got a really good sort of Dunkirk spirit and are cracking on with it, and all power to your arm under those circumstances and with that attitude. Some of us are finding this a little bit more difficult, and help is still available. We're still doing phone sessions, still doing FaceTime sessions or video call sessions on FaceTime, WhatsApp, Skype, Zoom, things like that. So if you are struggling out there and you would like a bit of support, do reach out because it's available to you. So in the meantime, cough into your elbow, wash your hands, stay more than 2 meters away from people, stock up on, I was going to say stock up on Netflix, but you can't really stock up on Netflix, can you? But, you know, do what you need to do, people, to stay safe. And if you want to reach out, help is here. Take care, guys.